Hey everyone, my name is Andy Nelson, and it is a privilege to be able to share with you today's daily devotion. There's some really cool things happening at our church, and I would like to think it is because of a lot of our people participating in the 21 90-day challenge. You know, 21 days a habit makes, 21 days a habit breaks. So the challenge is to do something in our lives for 21 days to form a habit to better us spiritually. I know it's well past 21 days and we're into the 90 days. So for my challenge, I have prayed every day without ceasing, focusing on thanking and praising and praying in the Spirit all the way to work and on my way home. It's been challenging, but it's also been rewarding. Now it's a habit. I wanted to share with you my acrostic that I made last year. It's my full name, Andrea. It's activation, next level, dedicated, righteous, extravagant, and anointed. It's been really cool to see how things I wrote down for me come to fruition. So today I was asked to talk to you about living a generous life, and I call it a life generous. This month's series for our devotions, we have focused on the parable of the talents in Matthew 25:14 through 30. It's so cool because there's been so many different perspectives from each devotion this month that there's literally been a wealth of information for each of us to focus on as we strive to grow in our journey. In Proverbs 11:24 and 25, this verse is so good. One gives freely, yet grows all the richer. Another withholds what he should give and only suffers want. Whoever brings the blessing will be enriched, and one who waters will himself be watered. Isn't that kind of cool? Now, back to the parable of the talents. Today I want to focus on the master in the parable. We all know that master really is Jesus. So let's focus on him because that's really what it's all about. First, he knew each servant. He spent time with them because they chose to spend time with him. He invested in them according to the amount of time they chose to spend with him. And last, he was their example, and depending on how much time they spent with him, and each servant used their knowledge of him to take what he had given them and do what they thought was right. In our lives, we can choose how much time we want to spend with him. As a chaplain preacher's kid, I grew up growing up in church and involved in churching. But I never really chose to spend a lot of time with him and didn't know him. I thought that everything I did with churching was spending time with him, but it wasn't. It wasn't personal. In fact, I avoided him. I avoided personal time with him because I feared him because of what religion had taught me about him. I prayed and read the Bible whenever I needed something or I needed to get out of trouble. In a way, I was using him. I lost everything that mattered to me because of my fear and disobedience. About 3 years ago, I began spending more time with Jesus. I made it a point to pray every day and read his word. Started out with just 5 minutes, and then it increased slowly every single day. And in doing this, I began to know him and what a generous God he is. And with all that said, I began to see what this is, that this is somebody I want to be like. I want to be like Jesus, to live a generous life of love, forgiveness, kindness, gentleness, patience, self-control, joy, and peace. All of these things are manifested by spending time with him every single day, even more so to be like him. And I want to share him because after all, he shared. He gave generously in all ways and still does. It's what I call living a generous life, or a life generous. It's an extravagant life because I am doing what he asks me. So like the servant who received the most talents, he blesses me every single day for obeying, trusting, and knowing him. Some of you might not know where to start with building a relationship with Jesus. It's really simple. First, talk to him every day like he's a friend. Second, start with reading something in the Bible that is familiar to you. Last, ask him every day that you die to yourself so that he can live. And that means instead of looking at situations and negative, say to yourself, I want to be like Jesus.